It's Kevin Keatsman Uncanceled on 95.7 FM, KCMO Talk Radio.
Good morning, Kansas City. Welcome to Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio 95.7 FM. I'm your humble host, Kevin Keatsman, on a Friday. And I know a lot of days I got a little bounce in my step, occasionally over-caffeinated. But today it's legit, man. This place is hopping. Never worked in a media environment where there are so many entities in one place with all these radio stations. When I worked at Channel 4 way back in the day, KY102 and what was then 61 Country were in a separate building. So we didn't see the radio people. The TV people were in one building and the radio people were in another. And then the 25 years or so that I was doing radio, it was just one station in one building and one small company. And that was fun and that was cool. Here, you got like these monster stations, like 94.9 is just this massive station in Kansas City. Number one, Mike and McKenzie have a morning show. And my old buddy Gary Joslin's in there today, and he's giving away a $2,000 diamond ring for Mother's Day to one of their listeners. John Holt's in here with Pete Mundo, weaving stories, talking about all the things in Kansas City and all the things in sports. This place is just hopping today. So it's fun. I think we could do if we did this right, we could probably produce a sitcom out of this place. Or maybe something more serious, maybe something like the morning show, maybe a little more of a drama. We got a fine show lined up for you today, and I'm here for you with all the pep you can stand. We're going to talk briefly about one weakness Donald Trump has. I don't want to lose you now. I'm 99.9% on board. I can find one little weakness in our guy here, and I'm going to tell you what I think that is coming up in just a couple of moments. Also, what's with Republicans fainting on camera? We've had 3 of them fall in front of cameras in the last 10 days. Just whoop, down. I don't know what this is. We'll get into that. We got some weird news today with Mark at the end of the show, and I don't have much sports written down, but I might. I've got one Royals little thing here, but there's some weird stuff going on out there, including a crazy lady in Kentucky and a pet raccoon and an arrest you're not going to believe. It is all ahead on Uncanceled, and we start today with all of what's been going on in D.C. I'm going to skip over the Pope. It was a big story yesterday. For some people, it's not a story at all. Obviously, he's an American, so it's different now. I did see a picture of him earlier today at the 2005 World Series with his White Sox cap on. His brother says he is not a Cubs fan, so he's maybe a White Sox fan, but he was in the conclave when the Royals were sweeping the White Sox, so he probably didn't know that happened. But there's a picture of him at the World Series in 2005 with his White Sox cap on. I'm more interested in what happened in D.C., and I like the fact that a trade deal was done with England, and you'll notice that the media is completely silent on it. Like it came, and it went away. It's like, okay, Trump did something well. He closed the deal with a personal phone call to the prime minister, so that's not news. We'll just go on to something else. The Pope was a great distraction yesterday for the leftist media in America, so it's almost like the first thing didn't happen, but now they can't say he doesn't have any deals done, nothing's happening, nothing's going on. And there's obviously some weird stuff going on that they've decided to, on the left, bash Joe Biden. Spend a couple of moments on that in a little bit. But one little nugget that popped out yesterday stood out to me more than anything. This Ed Martin, who is the GOP chair in the state of Missouri and is an attorney and a complete buster. I mean, this guy was the man, and Trump wanted to make him the U.S. attorney in D.C. to do all of the workings of going after the people that came after Trump. This would have to do with Russiagate, election interference, J6, all of these things that they happen. We're going to find out how Joe Biden used lawfare against Donald Trump in a New York court, in Atlanta, Fulton County, all these different things. And Ed Martin was the guy. He's from Missouri. He's been a big political player in Missouri for a long time. And he was going to be the guy. But apparently he's too controversial and was not going to get approved by some Republicans. If you go to his Wikipedia page, this is one of those people that they hate so much on the left. They hate Ed Martin so much on the left that his Wikipedia page is just a hit job from the start. Like, you can be a criminal, multi-convicted criminal, Hollywood celebrity, DUIs, drug use, in and out of rehab 27 times, all these different things. And your Wikipedia page could be glowing about how great of an entertainer you are and what a wonderful person you are. And at the bottom will say, oh, yeah, there were a couple of arrests, and he beat up a woman, and it'll just like be a footnote. Ed Martin's Wikipedia comes out to you like a cannon firing at you. I mean, they're just all over him. J6 truther, it's unbelievable. So they hate this guy more than anyone, and he was not going to get approved. So Trump has now basically reassigned him. He's going to work with Pam Bondi in something they're calling the investigation group for weaponization. So he's going to have not the same authority, but certainly the same role of investigating. He's going to work with Pam Bondi. So they didn't get rid of Ed Martin. So in a way, that's good. But now he's put Judge Jeanine Pirro in the spotlight doing this. And I watched The Five, and I'm okay with Judge Jeanine, but she's a little over the top. She sometimes gets out over her skis. She seems to me at times like maybe her best days are behind her, and she's not thinking clearly or straight, or it isn't all comprehensive, when I'm hearing her do her thing. Trump's weakness is he just loves celebrities. And he's got an entire cast of them around him. And I don't know how your U.S. attorney for Washington, D.C. should be a celebrity. Like, people didn't really know, except inside, who Ed Martin was. That would be a good hire. But even like Kash Patel and Pam Bondi have been celebrities. They've been sort of out of work and just out there on social media, doing podcasts, having millions of people follow them. They're very, very famous. He's got Dr. Phil and Dr. Oz working for him. He's got RFK Jr., who's been basically nothing but a celebrity his whole life with the Kennedy name. Pete Hegseth had a morning show on TV. Casey Means, the new Surgeon General nominee, is a social media star, an influencer, if you will. It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. So I don't know if this is because Trump is like my original founder and owner at Union Broadcasting, Jerry Green, who many of you may remember in Kansas City, tried to buy the Royals at one point. He owned Union Bank. He had car dealerships. He was a very important businessman in Kansas City. He was a little eccentric, but he was the sweetest, biggest-hearted man you'll ever meet. He had one weakness. He loved celebrities. Like, he would stop everything he's doing in an important meeting and show you a picture he had over here with him and Bill Clinton right next to one of him and George Herbert Walker Bush. Or celebrities. He would tell stories about Frank Sinatra. And he at one point owned a Playboy Club in Chicago, or was a partner in that, and all the celebrities he met, Hugh Hefner, and he would just go on and on and on talking about celebrities that he met. There are people like that. I don't know what percentage of people are like that, but they're like that. They're like really, really accomplished, focused people that are so starstruck by celebrity and place such a value on someone's either public image or their wealth that they don't see anything else. Trump loves wealthy, successful people, but he might love celebrities even more. And to him, Judge Jeanine is a celebrity judge. So let's put her in charge of the U.S. court in D.C., U.S. attorney in D.C. Look, I'm not saying that it won't work. I don't understand it. I'm not convinced that every one of these people that are celebrities are the best people for these positions. It doesn't matter because Trump's the best person for his position, and he checks every box. He's wealthy, he's successful, he's a businessman, he's got the popular vote, America loves him, and he's the biggest celebrity in the world. So he's got all that. But surrounding yourself by other celebrities seems a little weird to me. And a complete 180 to go from Ed Martin, who nobody in America knows other than the people in D.C., to Judge Jeanine seemed like maybe the biggest stretch yet for Trump. And I say it's a weakness just because there's so many of them. So it has to be a blind spot for him. He's like, well, I don't know who to get. Just get the social media influencer over there, Casey Means. Let's have her do it. Very, very different style of leadership. But it beats what the Dems are doing, and the Biden bashing continues. He went on The View, and it was a disaster, as you know. He went on The View, couldn't finish a sentence. His wife is there helping him finish sentences. And the latest to jump on him is a Democratic strategist named Dan Tarantino. I think I've got the name right. And he did an interview after this and referred to Biden from his time around him in the White House as delusional and defiant. And that's carrying on today by doing these interviews, that he's delusional and defiant. It's just the latest from people on the left who are now attacking Joe Biden and trying to distance themselves. But they never learn that they lie about what's going on, or they lie to you about Republicans. I'll have a couple examples in a moment. They lie to you, and then a few years later, they're like, well, I knew that, and, here's the real truth. So when is America going to say, well, we're tired of you not telling the truth when it's important, and then telling us the truth like after somebody's retired or out of office? You know how many Democrats are going to say nice things about Trump when he's finally done? They're going to say, yeah, he was a transparent president. That was pretty cool the way he did those news conferences in the White House. Yes, we knew everything that was going on. No, he was not a dictator. And then they'll say, nope, nothing really happened to Medicare or Medicaid or Social Security. But that's all they do right now is they're running around saying, here we go. Trump's a dictator. He wants to wear a uniform because he's a dictator. The GOP is going to cut Medicare. Your Social Security is going to be gone. How many times can they tell you this only in 4 years when Trump is gone to look back and say, wow, they were wrong again? How can one party survive by being this wrong this often? And the scoreboard for history will note that the Republicans are almost always right, which is what's so great about the hat that Elon Musk wears and others wear that says Trump is always right, or Trump was always right, is always right, however you want to say it, because it's true. For 4 years, the Republicans were saying Joe Biden is incompetent, he's incoherent, he is not healthy, and he's doing bad things for America. And it unfolded right before people's eyes. A lot of people that don't pay much attention could easily see after the debate, one of the worst moments ever was Jill Biden, the little after celebration from the debate that Joe Biden had. She gets up on stage. She goes, you did so great tonight, Joe. You answered every question. You guys remember that famous line? They're in front of their voters. It's after the debate with Trump where he just got slaughtered. And they have this, we're going to prompt Joe's standing there, and she's got the microphone. Joe, we're so proud of you. You were so great tonight. You answered every question. Like she's teaching a kindergarten class. You can't escape that stuff. Eventually, the party that runs around for 4 years and tells you that Donald Trump is going to do things that he doesn't do, and that the Republicans are going to take things from you that they don't take from you, has to kill them. More than anything else. We can get down in the weeds about celebrity and elections and interference and all those things. Those are all important things. Ultimately, if you do the job, people will vote for you. If America's successful these 4 years, the Republicans are going to win in 4 years. That will take care of itself. Voters aren't stupid. They will remember a president that was a failure and one that was a success. And they will reward that party. The people in the middle will reward that party. And that, I think, more than anything else, is what's going on. But they don't learn their lesson. They just keep saying out there over and over and over, they're taking your Medicaid. Social Security's going away. It's not. It's all a big lie. And I think most people know it, but they're not paying attention now. I'm not sure why the Democrats say it. It must have to do with voters back in their district that they're trying to impress. That's all I can think of. 913-408-7957. That's 408-7957. Give me a call if you'd like to be on the show. I would love to speak with you next on Uncanceled. We're back on Uncanceled. It's great to have you with us on this Friday. Hope you have a great weekend. The weather looks fantastic. The Royals are home. We got NASCAR weekend here. Lots to do. There's all kinds of art fairs and music fairs around the area. Whatever it is you like to do, get outdoors. We didn't need to be told this, but we're now learning more and more about how important it is for all of us to get outside and that sunshine is good for you. Do not be all freaked out about skin cancer. Get some sun time. It's good for you. It is all good here at Uncanceled. We got Chris in Leawood joining us. Good morning, Chris. How are you, buddy?
I'm good, Kevin. I just wanted to respond to some of your comments about celebrity. And I think you should know this because just because someone is a celebrity doesn't mean they can't be a person of substance. When you look at Trump, some of these people I think you'd have to evaluate on a case-by-case basis. He obviously has the right person at Treasury, at State, at Commerce, and those aren't necessarily celebrities to anybody outside of the financial community. And I think it's a little rich because people in Kansas City are willing to accept a disgraced sports talk guy for their political opinion in the morning. And I don't think you should be bashing who he's picking just because they're celebrities.
Well, I agree with you that because you're a celebrity doesn't mean you can't do the job. I'm 100% with you, and I stated that in my opening comments. So I'll stand by what I said. I think when we look back in 4 years, we're going to find out that some of these didn't work, and we've got a history of this now. Like he supported Dr. Oz in a Senate race in Pennsylvania and lost the seat for Republicans. If he had not supported Dr. Oz and they'd run the other candidate, they would have won in Pennsylvania. There's a history of... Hang on. Whoa. Hang on. You got to let me finish. I let you speak. Okay. Chris, I want to do this, but you got to let me speak. Okay? And I didn't come prepared with my list of the celebrities that have failed under Trump, but there are many. And he's had relationships with a lot of celebrities through the years that have had their lives blow up and disgraced, including a whole bunch of people on the Epstein list and whatever. Now, Trump's been around them all for a long time. I'm not saying he should vouch for their character or whatever happens to them is Trump's fault. But when you just love to blanket, surround yourself by celebrities, and now you cherry pick the ones that are Republican, it can hurt you a little bit. He used to be really close, and he was out in the open in public with Mike Lindell. Remember the MyPillow guy? Where's MyPillow guy now? Right? There were some certain scandals and things around MyPillow and things that he did, and now he has to distance himself from that guy a little bit. So it happens. I'm not predicting that this is bad. If you think Judge Jeanine Pirro is absolutely the best candidate in the entire United States of America to be the U.S. attorney in Washington, D.C., then you and I look at these things differently because there's no way she can be the best candidate.
Well, I don't think Trump's picking people off the Epstein list as his celebrities for powerful
Did I say that? Did I say that, or you putting words in my mouth?
I mean, you kind of insinuated
No, I didn't.
Tacitly.
No, I didn't. I said he has surrounded himself by a lot of people who've done really bad things through the years, and then I went on to say that's not necessarily his fault. It doesn't mean he was in business with them. It doesn't mean he hired them, okay? But he loves having celebrities around. I'm going to ask you, how many candidates do you think are better for that job than Judge Jeanine?
I'm not a.
Take a guess.
I'm not familiar with that. But
Take a guess. There's
check,
340 million of us. Take a guess.
I think she was a New York prosecutor and judge. I wouldn't be surprised if she had a pretty distinguished record. I don't know where she went to law school. Maybe you could elucidate those things to us and explain her record and why she's insufficient.
She was great in New York, and now she's in charge of D.C., which I don't even see that correlation.
Well, all these people that are celebrities, quote unquote, also have staff. They're loyal to Trump. They're loyal to Republicans, and they seem to have both feet on the ground.
Buddy, we're on the same team. We're on the same team. I told you at the start, I'm 99.9%. You're not going to find somebody that loves what Trump's doing more than I do. The thing I have with Trump is he's at the top, so that's great. I don't get too worried about if Judge Jeanine fails, no big deal. But you know what I'm going to do? In 2 years, I'm going to be sitting here fielding calls from people going, what a terrible hire. They didn't arrest anybody. They didn't prosecute anybody. Nobody's in jail. Hillary's still out there. What about the server? I'm going to hear all that from everyone that listens to this show because Judge Jeanine doesn't get anybody. Okay? So we know Ed Martin's a better candidate. There's one, and you don't even know who Ed Martin is. And he's from here in Missouri. He's clearly the better candidate. He's clearly better candidate than Judge Jeanine. Would you give me that?
I mean, I wouldn't be qualified to tell you. I'll tell you this. I like Judge Joe Brown. Have you ever listened to some of his stuff? He's great and very smart.
Because you know him. That's the point. Right. When you know a celebrity, you want them to have the job. Like, I thought Pete Hegseth was an odd choice. I like what he's done so far. Maybe he's going to be the best ever. I just thought it was a little bit of an odd choice. And you can't do this without saying, okay, you know, that he won the job because of his celebrity. There may have been other people that were equal candidates, but if that's what puts you over the top as being a celebrity, I think it's a slight weakness for Trump. That's all. I'm not bashing Trump. I just think it's a weakness. I wouldn't look if he had Podboy for chairman of the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, and somebody in Colorado that was a lawyer and really understood communications and all that stuff, and let's just say he viewed us equally, and I got the job because I've been on radio for years, and I know how to communicate with people, and that's the reason he picked me. That's probably the wrong reason to pick me as FCC chair.
One thing, Kevin, I don't think you've taken into consideration by picking these loyal celebrity people who have entrenched opinions that are well documented, he's guaranteeing that he's not appointing bureaucrats in just Washingtonian bureaucrats into positions of government that could potentially hamstring him on certain issues, because those were issues inside of his first campaign is he didn't know enough people, and everybody appointed was actually his enemy rather than his friend. So I think he might take that into consideration when he's making these decisions as well.
I'm good with that. I'm good, and I hope it works. I hope Judge Jeanine is great. And, Chris, I hope you call me back someday and tell me how I'm disgraced. I would love to hear that.
No, we all know that already.
Really? Yeah. It sucks being right. It was terrible that I was right. And proven right. What a disgrace to be right and have it proven. You got to call me sometime, Chris. I'll have that debate with you. You won't have much of a chance on that one. I can promise you. This is Uncanceled. We're due for a break. When we come back, why are so many Republicans fainting, passing out in front of cameras? Next. I'm kind of curious to see how many people are disagree with me and are upset that I would say Trump's hiring too many celebrities, or it looks like he's hiring too many celebrities. Chris made some excellent points. I love Anytime you want to call and disagree with me, man, I'm all good with that. You know the phone number, 913-408-7957. That's 408-7957. Or maybe you have a comment on Chris, the last caller, if you'd like to. I can make a pretty good argument that the most effective people in the Trump administration, other than Trump at this point, and then J.D. Vance, obviously, Marco Rubio, the people that are right there would be people that you didn't know. Susie Wiles, Chief of Staff, Stephen Miller, Director of Policy, Scott Bessent, Treasury, doing all these trade deals. Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary, has been very good. And these are people you didn't know of. They appear to be outstanding hires, just doing tremendous work for Donald Trump. They look like the stars to me, and they're becoming celebrities because if you're in this game, a lot of people are going to get to know who you are. So, but that's not the reason they were hired. These people are doing their jobs because there is no question that they're really, really, really great at what they do. So I don't know what's going on, but we had another Republican faint last night, this one on Fox News. We've had 3 of them in 10 days. So before we get to last night's incident, let's go backwards. About 10 days ago, Trump was doing one of those, I don't think this was Oval Office. Maybe it was a different room. Maybe it was Oval Office. I think maybe it was. He had a whole bunch of people in there, and I forget what he was talking about. And the reporters were all in there, and it gets a crowded room, and sometimes these rooms can get kind of hot and stuffy. And somebody passed out and went down, and Trump kind of walked over there. They had a person. It ended the thing right away. He stopped, walked over, did the right thing, checked. And I believe it's not been reported who it was, but it was a minor. Somebody had their child in there. Not like a baby, but a child that was standing there, maybe a 12-year-old or 14-year-old or something, and they passed out. I think everything's okay. The story kind of went away, which was fine. Subsequent to that, a few days ago, Ron DeSantis is in Florida doing a news conference, and he brings a lot of folks around him, and he's got a state senator from Florida named Elena Garcia, and she's standing there and at the podium and getting ready to talk, and down she goes and is going to be okay. And last night on Fox News at Night, which is normally hosted by Trace Gallagher, the fill-in host was on, and I forget his name. It's the guy. He's from England. He's the British guy. And he's hosting, and Cameron Kinsey is a guest, and she's a former Trump official. And when you hear somebody named Cameron, a woman named Cameron Kinsey, a former Trump official, it's exactly what you'd think. Young and blonde, blue eyes. She's off on her own now, cashing in with her own consulting firm and doing all this other stuff. But she's now a rising pundit in the field, which is very lucrative. And she's sitting on set. And down goes Frazier. I mean, she just wobbles right out of her chair, down onto the ground. And this dude with the glasses, British boy, is standing there going, okay, they're going to check on her. Let's go back to our other guest and let me ask you. And he's like, literally, they have 2 guests on at once. There's one on the set. There's another on a satellite. And he's going to go talk to the other person now? Well, he's got somebody laying next to him that we don't know what's going on. Now, it's a fill-in host. Probably hasn't been there. And this guy, is his name Jonathan something maybe? Jonathan Hunt? Is that a guy? Is it something Hunt? Oh, that's him. Okay, that's who it was. And he's not used to hosting. Great. I get it. Somebody goes down, falls out of their chair, and it's a medical emergency. You should just probably go to break. And if the people in the control room aren't ready for you, they can fade to black, and it could sit there on black for 30 seconds if it needs to. But probably don't keep going talking about tariffs while someone is laying at your feet. This lady was right next to him, and just down she went. And she's out, and I think she's going to be just fine, too. They told him within seconds, which probably seemed like a year for this guy, because we've all, in broadcasting, been there, where something that only lasts about 4 or 5 seconds seems like 4 or 5 days, because he doesn't know what to do. And so he's trying to go to the other guest, and he goes, oh, and you can tell they're talking in his ear because now he's going quiet, and he's blinking his eyes. I'm told we should go to break right now. We'll be right back. And they did. And so I think everything was okay with this lady. But that's really weird. That's 3 Republicans in 10 days in front of live cameras, essentially, that have just gone down. I don't know what to make of it, but sometimes there's cycles in news, weird things happen, and don't they say these things happen in threes, or is that just dying in threes?
I think many things happen in threes.
Okay,
yes.
well, this is it. It just happened over 10 days.
People fainting.
Be careful. We're lucky we haven't had a guest on here this week, faint or something like that, at KCMO Talk Radio. So we wish them all the very best, but we've had a lot of Republicans going down fainting. Pretty strange thing entirely. So you may have heard I talk about the folks over at Best Offer KC, and you've heard the spots with Mark in his accent. He's from New Zealand. He's a Kiwi, and I really like the guy. And he came here in the 90s to play tennis at UMKC, and he's never gone home. I read a story this week about New Zealand. It pops up on my feed. I don't know why. Maybe I'd been reading more about New Zealand. It's not very big. There's only 4.8 million people in New Zealand, which makes it about the size of Dallas, Phoenix, a city like that. 4.8 million. They lost 128,000 residents last year in New Zealand. Do you remember when they had the lockdowns during COVID and everybody looked at New Zealand and thought they were doing it better than anyone in the world? Now, they're an island, but they shut everything down in New Zealand. They're like, we're small enough that we can just stop doing everything we do and it won't hurt us that much. And they did. So they don't know why this is happening, but Australia is now, they recognize the Kiwis want to leave. A lot of them want to leave. And it's pretty funny because I know people, I had a family member say if Trump was going to win, they were going to move to New Zealand. Like that's where they were going to go. You've all heard this. I'm moving to Canada. I'm going to Ireland. Rosie O'Donnell went to Ireland. I'm going somewhere. Well, I've heard people say if Trump wins, we're moving to New Zealand. Apparently that's not happening because their population is shrinking and it's shrinking fast and people want out of there. It is said to be a beautiful place, and I don't doubt that. And the people are wonderful, and there's not much there to not like. And I don't know if this is political or not. They don't know whether it's because of what happened during COVID. They don't know if people had delayed plans that they couldn't leave for a couple of years because of COVID, and now they can. They don't know if this is economic, but Australia, for example, is offering $20,000 to police officers in really from anywhere, but New Zealand is what they target because it's right off the coast. $20,000 bonus, that's Australian. I think it's like 13,000 American dollars to move to Australia and become a police officer here. So there's incentives. Some of these are economic, but the demographic of this nation of Kiwis is really changing because like anywhere else, people are finding their way in. And it was once almost completely European country, and it's down to now 68% of European descent. So it's obviously getting less and less white and more of other things. And that may be a reason some people are leaving. Nobody really knows. But everybody that's ever been to New Zealand, my in-laws went there last year. They said it's just like the most beautiful place they've ever been. And the people couldn't have been nicer. And it's always seemed like a dreamy place to me. And they're trying to figure out why Kiwis are leaving. That's a big percentage. You only got 4.8 million people. You lose 128,000 each year. That's 2,500 people a week are leaving, right? That's a lot of people rolling out of New Zealand in a pretty weird way. I just thought that was kind of a bit of a strange story. All right, on to my favorite odd news story of the week, and this one happened in Springfield, Ohio. A 55-year-old woman was pulled over on a warrant. They can run your plate, and if you're wanted on a warrant, they can pull you over. We've never passed laws that says they don't have just cause to run your plate. I guess we have plates for a reason, but it's almost like pulling somebody over for no reason. You run the plate, okay, now I've got a reason. So they pull this lady over. She's wanted on another warrant. She's 55, okay? This is Springfield, Ohio, and she's from a smaller town somewhere outside of there. And the officer pulls her over, and she has a raccoon in her car in the passenger seat. And the raccoon has a crack pipe in his mouth. A pet raccoon has a crack pipe. So the officer does what any good officer should do. So I got to confiscate that and takes the crack pipe away from the raccoon. Raccoon reaches over into the console and gets another one and puts it in his mouth. There's multiple crack pipes in the car, and apparently the raccoon likes them all. The lady was arrested. The raccoon was unharmed. We care at this point, right, more about the raccoon than the lady. Isn't this the way it works in news stories? Because we had the guy in Lawrence this week at the Casey's General Store holed up in the bathroom, and the authorities come to get him, say you can't stay here, and he's got his dog with him, and he's clearly on something because they tase him twice, and he's still fighting. So he's on something really good. Like he's really onto something good because the taser isn't working. And he grabs his dog, and he bites his dog by the ear and holds on. Like, you can't take me. I'm biting my dog's ear. The first thing they tell you in journalism school is dog bites man is not a story. Man bites dog's a lead story. And that's what this was. So the dog is okay. We don't care about the guy at Casey's that was disrupting everything. I'm a bad person. I know I'm a bad person, but we really don't care. The raccoon's fine. I wonder if they take the raccoon to like the veterinarian and say, check this raccoon out and see if it's addicted to crack. Because it literally could be addicted. and be in real trouble if you just set it free, and it's been a pet raccoon. So I don't know what they did with the raccoon. They say the raccoon's fine, but is it really? What if it's a drug-addicted raccoon? Because it doesn't sound like its owner is getting out of jail anytime soon. She's on a lot of charges now, not the least of which is allowing your raccoon in your car to have your crack pipe and maybe getting contact high off of it or whatever happens with crack. I don't know how this works, but people are crazy. There's a lot of crazy people in America, and we're just glad that the animals are safe. If you want to go ruin your own life, just don't hurt anybody else. And for crying out loud, don't hurt your pets. Don't be mean to pets. Don't do drugs and freak out around your pets. It's not good for them. That's our wise words of the day. When we come back, we'll talk with Mark about some cool stuff going on, including dumb news, D-U-M. News that's so dumb it doesn't get the B on the end. D-U-M. Dumb news next with Mark Van Sickle. This is Uncanceled on KCMO. Hey, thanks for listening to KCMO Talk Radio. The Vince Show is coming up in just a few minutes. He's really growing on me. Absolutely really growing on me. Anytime something's new, like I was the first few weeks for many of you, it takes a little time, familiarity, get to know somebody a little bit. It's really growing on me. That show hustles. There's a lot of hustle in that show. A lot of hustle. So the Vince Show coming up at 11 o'clock. Really appreciate all the great work that he's doing and having him here on KCMO Talk Radio. We want to wish a happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. It is a great weekend celebration. Going to have my mom over. She'll be 92 this summer. We're going to go to Mass on Sunday and hear what they have to say about the new Pope. And then she will come over for her favorite things in the world, which are hamburgers and chili dogs and hot fudge sundaes. Mark, Mother's Day plans?
That sounds good. Are you going to watch the Royals game as well?
She hasn't missed an inning yet.
Good.
She's crazy about the Royals.
It sounds like great baseball food.
Yes.
That's what I love about that.
For sure. I'm sure she'll be, she won't wear her Royals gear to church. Maybe I'll swing her by her place if she wants to put her shirt on and wear that over the house. So you remember during football season, we had the guy on from Matfield Green, the band, that sang the song Touchdown Kansas City. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't like about the Mitch Holtis call. It was about a service member who'd been overseas, and it was literally about the plane touching down at KCI when they came home, and then they were going to all go to a Chiefs game or watch a Chiefs game together. It's basically the theme of the song. It's really good. The band is called Matfield Green. Blaine Younger, who's in Matfield Green, has gone out and made an album on his own. And he got a hold of me this week, and he said, we're releasing the album Friday. That's today. So it's out. It's called Straight from the Heartland. I think you can see it on YouTube. There's 11 songs. But the reason I bring this up is he's releasing it this weekend because his favorite song, or the one he would like to have released as a single for people to hear, is called Motherhood and Apple Pie.
Nice.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that's just going to be as good as the last one.
Yeah.
So
It's
I can't
nice.
wait to listen.
It is, it's on my podcast today. We do a Song of the Week. Kevin Keatsman Has Issues is the podcast, and it's our Song of the Week today. It's at the end of the Friday podcast. I do a Song of the Week, and I take emails from people. If you want to send me your nomination for a Song of the Week, we'll be happy to play it there until we get in trouble and can't play them anymore. That's the way it works on my podcast. I always felt like if they want to come after me for playing songs, if they want to file a lawsuit against Crooked Tail Media, which is just me and Jessica, that'd be the best publicity we'd ever get.
Oh, yeah.
Take that.
And then you'll just stop playing songs, and that's it.
Maybe. We'll see. I mean, stuff's all over the internet. It's everywhere.
Oh,
What's the point? I mean, I understand that there's rules around these things. Anyway, the song is called Motherhood and Apple Pie by Blaine Younger, if you want to check it out this Mother's Day weekend. That's pretty cool. Are you ready for some dumb news, Mark?
Let's hear it. The dumb without the B, is that right?
Dumb without the B. A 7-year-old boy in Lexington, Kentucky grabbed his mom's phone. She wasn't around. What could possibly go wrong? He gets on Amazon. He orders 70,000 dum-dums. 30 cases. $4,200. You know the little suckers, the dum-dums.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Well, this 7-year-old's got 70,000 of them. They show up a couple days later. She didn't know he made the order. It ran her card. I think it's just automatic, right? You don't put your credit card information on Amazon.
Yeah,
it's all just
saved,
set up.
If it's auto-saved, yeah, it's going to just order it for you.
Like gambling. It's just like having a line of credit.
Yeah.
Oof, that sounds dangerous, man. So anyway, the kid does this. They show up. Amazon took 8 of the cases back. They said, man, we what are we going to do with the rest of these, right? So she's down to 22, and she's trying to sell them to all her friends and people in the neighborhood and whatnot. She's got a Facebook page, and she just asked anybody, does anybody want a case or a bag of dum-dums? Please help me out here. I'm $4,200 in the hole because of my kid who grabbed my phone.
That's a great way to, I don't know. It's a lesson, but at the same time, Maybe sell them to a doctor's office or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, they're giving out the little candies to kids as if they get a shot or something.
Yeah, you could donate them.
Yeah.
Donate them to a charity, take the write-off. I don't know what their financial situation is. I'm sure that's a lot for anybody, no matter what. But who would you be madder at? Yourself for letting your kid have your phone when you're not around, or the kid for doing it? He's just a 7-year-old now. This is not like a 3-year-old baby that cracked, some sort of metric code. It's like, this is a 7-year-old. He kind of must have known what he was doing.
You got to get mad. Obviously, you're going to get mad at the kid for doing it, but then you look at yourself. You got to look in the mirror and you got to be like, all right, I'm not doing this ever again.
This phone is never leaving my reach. Will never happen again. I like that. Michelle Obama did an interview. She's talking about Barack Obama and what he said to her after her mother died. What do you think the loving, caring Barack Obama said to his wife, Michelle, after her mother died?
I'm sorry.
I think he probably said that first, but shortly after that, he said, "You're next."
Oh, God.
She said this in a podcast. Now, I'm not going to judge because we don't know the context of it. And I could see if this was like several days later and you're talking about it or something, you'd be having a conversation because we have this conversation. I'm sure John's had this conversation. Hey, we're not getting any younger, We have a joke, Jessica and I, from time to time about who's going to go first. I'm older than she is. She always says that I'm dying first. I'm like, I don't know. I don't feel like that. I don't feel like that. I'll you know what? I'll bet you my life I don't. So we joke about it. So that it might be a great sign, actually, about their marriage that he made that crack. I don't know which way to interpret that. But the headlines on a lot of right-leaning websites are just like, oh, what a horrible person. You'd say that. But I could see where maybe you joke about that somewhere down the road. Now to your favorite news, the Royals. This is unbelievable. They got the Red Sox this weekend.
Hottest team in baseball, 9-1 in their last 10. It's incredible. 5
series in a row they've won. I hate to call, I do like to call the media out, but I don't like to get personal. And maybe this was a great topic, maybe it wasn't. It's never a topic that I would do. But apparently Seren Petro had one of these roundtable video things on where he's got guests on. What do you think their topic was about the hot Royals?
Their minor league guy that needs to come up?
Right. That would be a good one.
Uh-huh.
Or mine, hey, the closer's not going to work. Their topic is, what about trading Vinny and or Garcia?
Oh, no.
And making the team better down the road?
Oh, come on.
What? Are you kidding me? Garcia's an all-star right now, and Vinny leads the team in RBIs. Let's go, Royals. Win some games this weekend. Mothers, have a happy Mother's Day on Sunday. Thanks for listening to Uncanceled.